in the Bible where Satan got punished by God for doing something. Don't worry, I'll wait. And before you say anything about a serpent in the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis, there's no proof in the Bible that says that was Satan. Go back and read it again. It just says serpent, says nothing about Satan being the serpent. Serpent could have been anybody, or anything. When you sit and you really start to think about it, Satan never gets a punishment for anything. But you know who does get a punishment?
Okay, I feel this woman is very smart. She just has not studied the Bible. She has not studied the context of the Bible. To answer her first question, yes, God has punished the devil already. We see this in Revelations chapter 12. There is a battle in heaven, and the devil, along with the third of the angels, are thrown out of heaven. When this happens, the devil's title as God's top angel is taken from him. Not only that, but he is no longer an angel, and he is no longer part of the kingdom of heaven. That is punishment. Also, when Jesus dies for our sins and is resurrected again, he saved us from our sins. Saved us from what? Saved us from sin and saved us from the devil. When he is saving us from the devil, and a person, all they have to do is accept Christ and follow Christ, and then they are saved from the devil, I would say that is another way of punishing Satan. She also talks about the serpent, saying that nowhere in the Bible does it say that the serpent is the devil. Actually, it does. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, the writer, who is the Apostle John, says that ancient serpent who is called the devil. This is an insult to the devil. Serpents were viewed by ancient Israelites in many ways, but a lot of the ways that they were viewed were they were deceptive, dangerous, and they caused chaos. Another way of explaining the devil.
Punishment, the ones who get tempted by him. Even the ones that didn't know they were being tempted by him, like in 2 Samuel 24 when David did the census and thought he was talking to God, but apparently it was Satan that told him to do it, and so God punished David and killed 70,000 people. But Satan, who supposedly tempted him, gets nothing. It goes on like that for the rest of the stories. Anytime that Satan tempts someone, they always get punished, but Satan never does. Then of course there's the idea that Satan just has his own realm where him and his angels go, and they're not locked down there. Like, he's allowed to go up and tempt humans on earth, apparently. Not only that, he also has conversations with God, like in Job, whenever he did that bet with God on Job's life. Is it not odd?
So if we look at 1 Chronicles chapter 21, it says, Satan rose up against Israel and incited David to take a census. The reason God was mad at David is because now that he was king, he felt that Israel belonged to him. No, it belongs to God. And it was David who chose for 70,000 people to die. God gave him 3 choices. He could have 7 years of famine, 3 months where he is running from his enemies, or 3 days of plagues. David chose the 3 day of plagues. In my opinion, he should have chosen the 3 months of running from his enemies. Why? Because he already has experience doing this. The first king of Israel, King Saul, knew his kingdom was going to end and David was going to be the next king. So Saul was hunting David and David was hiding from his enemies. He had experience of doing this. Chances are no one would have died since he already knew what to do. He's already done this. However, David chose for 70,000 people to die.
To anybody else, that this supposed loving God is way more comfortable punishing the ones that he supposedly loves for falling for this Satan guy, which, by the way, God created and knew would fall because he knows everything. So he punishes the ones who were tempted by Satan, but never punishes Satan himself. Some Christians are going to be like, but Satan gets his punishment in the book of Revelation. Revelation hasn't happened. Revelation is what people think is going to happen, which holds up just as much as your idea of an end times. Don't even get me started on the idea of a rapture, which isn't even in the Bible to begin with. Regardless, it's been at least 6,000 years, and Satan hasn't got a punishment once. Is that not weird to anybody but me?
Okay, so she says that supposedly the devil has this other realm that he goes in and out of. No, he is here on earth. in the book of Job, he meets God in heaven, and God asks the devil where he has been, and he says he has been roaming around the earth. So he's not going to hell and then back on earth. No, he's roaming around. And he has a lot of influence on many people, especially political leaders, people in power. This is why a lot of the world is going down the path of evil, why many political leaders uh, do evil things, because they're heavily influenced by the devil. And yes, there is a spiritual realm. Let me read Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12. It says, "For we do not wrestle against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." Talking about the spiritual realm and a lot of these demons that follow Satan, we wrestle against them. We don't wrestle against people, flesh and blood. No, people are heavily influenced by them. And she also mentions that Revelation has not happened yet. No, it has not happened yet. And yes, Satan will get his punishment in the time when Revelation does happen, but it hasn't happened yet. However, like the apologist Frank Turek says, if someone predicts their death and then says 3 days later they will rise again, and this is exactly what happens, yeah, I'm going to believe everything this guy says. Yeah, and that goes the same for me. Jesus predicted his death, predicted his resurrection. He was crucified, and then 3 days later he was resurrected. And there is many evidence to prove this. One of the biggest is that there were over 500 eyewitnesses seeing Jesus after his crucifixion. And 500 people do not have the same hallucination. They don't. So if over 500 people are seeing that Jesus is walking and alive, then yeah, I'm going to believe everything he says, including what he says about Revelation. So I saw this and I just wanted to address it. I will see you again soon.